When I first pulled into the driveway, I am not one to believe in anything supernatural or strange. I follow facts, I believe in logic, but there was something about this place that made me feel uneasy as soon as I saw the front door. The sky was blue, the afternoon light was steady. And there was no wind yet. I felt cold on my arms, I even wiped my hands on my jeans to shake it off. I told myself it was just the anxiety of inheriting a property I knew nothing about. I had never met the relative who left it to me, I only learned about it through a letter that appeared in my mailbox. The house was now mine, free and clear, whether I wanted it or not. The front yard was full of tall grass and overgrown leaves. I parked the car near the fence, turned it off and stepped outside. The air smelled musty. It reminded me of an old storage room or abandoned building, but I tried to ignore it. The paint on the house was faded and some of the wood looked like it hadn't been repaired in decades. I was fumbling with the key I got from the lawyer, trying to find the one that fit the door when it finally clicked. Open. I stood there for a second, catching my breath before stepping into the dark front hallway, and the floor creaked under my boots. Dust covered every surface. The high ceiling stretched above me and I could see a long hallway leading to the back of the house. I turned on my flashlight because some of the corners were too dark to see. After every few steps I heard the wood groaning in protest. I moved from room to room. On the first day I saw old furniture covered in sheets, shelves of random jewelry, and a grand staircase leading to the second floor. I wasn't sure how many rooms there were, but it seemed like more than I could count. The first time I walked through, I spent the rest of the afternoon opening the windows to air the room out. While I did that, I heard occasional noises in the walls that could have been mice or rats, maybe even raccoons in the attic. It's an old house, so that's normal. I feel tension in my chest, feels tight. I brush it off and decide to pick a room near the front of the house to sleep in, just so I don't have to walk through the dark hallways all the time after I clear some dust. That room becomes my temporary bedroom. It has a heavy wooden door that closes tightly. I like the idea of having a solid door between me and the rest of the house while I sleep. The night comes quickly. I put a small lamp on the bedside table. The wiring is old, but the power works as long as I'm aware of what circuits I'm using. At the same time I grab a quick dinner from the grocery store. I bring it with me, sit in a folding chair I found in the corner, and try to calm down. The house is mostly silent except for the occasional creaks. There's no TV, so I just listen to the old walls. I feel a little uncomfortable, but I force myself to think about normal things. I think about the errands I need to run, to repairs the house might need, and how long I'll spend here before deciding whether to sell it. Where after a while I fell asleep, but it was very restless. I tossed and turned a lot and I woke up several times during the night. Around midnight I heard something that made me sit up. There were slow footsteps in the hallway outside my door. They were heavy and purposeful. I freeze. I wait a few seconds to hear the footsteps again. The house is silent. Then the footsteps continue step by step, as if someone is walking back and forth. My heart is pounding. My mouth is dry. I tell myself I'm imagining it, but the sound is so clear. Eventually it stops. I still awake, staring at the ceiling. I'm too nervous to get up and check. I can't see any light in the hallway through the crack under the door, so I don't know what's out there. I barely slept after that. Every time I close my eyes I imagine someone is standing right outside. The next morning I see no sign of anyone else in the house. The rooms were as dusty as before, no footprints or signs of an intruder. The doors and windows were still locked. I tried to dismiss it as a shift of old boards or my tired mind games. Tips. I spent the day unpacking more stuff and exploring the upper floors. There was a library with shelves full of old books, a study with a large desk and scattered papers, and a narrow loft with boxes stacked high. No immediate signs of anything supernatural, but the air felt stale and the unsettling feeling never left me. That night I decided to set up a lamp in the hallway near my room. I wanted some light there in the hope it would make me feel safer. After dinner I locked the bedroom door and turned off the lights in the room, leaving the hallway light on. I lay in bed with my eyes glued